I need you to make me an appointment with a hairdresser that doesn't speak. And when I write my autobiography, I will title it The Day Ferruccio Saved My Life.
And what day was that, Mother?
Every day. Every single day. That's why I hate you.
The new film, Maria, is a dramatized version of the final days of opera singer Maria Callas' life. While it's actress Angelina Jolie that brings Maria to the screen, it's the words of screenwriter Steven Knight that brought her back to life. As a writer, director, and producer, Knight has his name on nearly 36 titles on both the big and small screen. Best known in recent years for his streaming hit Peaky Blinders, with 6 seasons on Netflix and a follow-up movie which just finished filming in Birmingham, England, Knight's hometown, and the perfect setting for us to spend a little time delving beyond his on-screen works.
What is it like to have this, I guess, announcing your presence here?
Yeah, well, it's announcing the presence. It's also a statement, really.
In Birmingham, England, the Peaky Blinders are keeping watch. This mural, the perfect passage to Steven Knight's Digbethlock Studios, a passion project for the Birmingham-born screenwriter behind the Netflix hit.
Birmingham is a city where there's a lot of graffiti, a lot of people tagging and doing stuff. Anything to do with Peaky like this is left alone. No.
Undeniable respect for Knight's streaming series, which is as intertwined with the studio as Knight himself, including the lot where we sat down to talk.
My dad used to work here as a blacksmith shoeing horses many, many years ago, and he used to bring me here as a kid to turn the handle on the forge and to eat bacon and egg cooked on the fire and all that. So it's got lots of memories. But just the fact that basically Peaky has come home to Digbeth, because this is where the original Peaky Blinders used to roam.
Those originals, a street gang which operated here from the 1890s through the 1920s.
Tommy, we've had word from Nipper at Hay Mills and he says the police are letting them through.
On screen, we know them as the Shelbys. Their stories, a mythologized version of the past, including some of Knight's own family lore.
My dad's uncles were Peaky Blinders. They took illegal bets.
Your mom has an interesting background as well.
Yeah, my mom was a bookies runner when she was 9 years old. In other words, they would use children to take the bets. So my mom would walk down a street less than a mile from here with a basket of washing, and people would walk in the other direction with a piece of paper with their code name, the name of the horse, the odds, and the coin they were going to bet, and drop it in. And then she'd get to the bookmakers, who had a dog on a chain that was exactly short enough to let somebody just about get round.
When it came to Knight's own childhood,
What was it like growing up?
Not the normal upbringing of a writer. It wasn't a house with any books in it, and it wasn't a house where going to school was considered to be particularly important. But it gave me a glimpse of a world, a sort of the last of a Victorian world that still existed in Birmingham at the time.
When did you know that you wanted to write?
From an early age, I always wanted to write stuff. I wrote something, I think it was a poem or something, when I was about 10, and a teacher called Miss Lester read it and said, "You're good at this." And just having a teacher say that, it was like having an official stamp.
So powerful.
I am definitely good at this, so this is what I'm going to do.
he started his career in radio and TV, a co-creator of the original Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in 1998. 5 years later, his first movie gained critical acclaim, writing the screenplay for Dirty Pretty Things.
You know, I counted. I've seen you laugh 3 times. 4.
In the words of Leonard Cohen, all you need to be a writer is arrogance and inexperience. And I had lots of both. In other words, I didn't know what you're not supposed to do. And so there were no rules to worry about. It was a very unusual baptism into the movie world, because it was effortless, actually.
Peaky Blinders would come a decade later.
So what do we do now? Just give the order.
A global sensation with an unexpected fan base.
By the order of the Peaky Blinders, this is Red Right Hand by Snoop Dogg.
I think the moment when I knew something very different was happening was when my agent got a call from Snoop Dogg's agent.
On another gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand.
And so we were in a hotel room in Covent Garden, and he's talking about his life, and he's telling me that, you know, he felt a resonance with the show and about how his life and how he progressed through youth and, you know, South Central. So there, suddenly, South Central, South Birmingham are being connected. And I thought, wow, this is really not what I expected.
So I have no intention of performing again. Not for you or anyone else.
Another story Knight hopes will resonate, his latest film, Maria, based on the life of opera great Maria Callas, the Queens-born, classically trained singer known as much for her tumultuous offstage life as her beautiful works on it. The film stars Angelina Jolie.
My mother made me sing. Onassis forbade me to sing. And now I will sing for myself.
I think she's a brilliant actor with a relevant life to the subject, who really commits to playing that role, and who it just means that you don't have to do certain things. You don't have to write certain things because you know they're going to be there.
It's such a great story, but it's also just so fun to say.
As for what attracted Knight to Callas's story in the first place,
I'm always attracted to things that reflect the absurdity and unpredictability and chaos of reality. Because I think as a writer of fiction, you are sort of obliged to take what really happens and make it seem more logical. And Maria's life, especially towards the end, was so profound. It was so full of significance. And of course, she was a genius who'd been given a gift. She was from a background where no one would have expected her to be that, which I always empathise with.
for Knight, it is his improbable background he continues to embrace at Digbeth Lock Studios.
What we're trying to do is keep the integrity of this area, what this place looks like. You know, it's industrial. It's what I think of as Tribeca before it became Tribeca. Seriously, I do.
Knight envisions the area as an artist's community, a playground for all kinds of productions, including his just-wrapped Peaky Blinders movie, which picks up where the series left off.
I'm guessing you people all decided that the only person who could ever kill Thomas Shelby is Thomas Shelby himself.
Well, poor Tommy. He's not through the woods yet. So we find him during World War II, and I can't really give away much more than that, other than he has some unfinished business.
What was it like to continue the story, to not have to end it there after having so much success?
I think it's not up to, it sounds weird, it's not up to me to end it.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm following, you're in the dark and you're following this rope, and when the rope ends, okay, fine, but it's still going, so I'll keep following it.
And I thought what was so cool is he's so excited about the idea that when the movie comes out, fans of that series will get to actually watch together instead of sitting in your own home and watching that way. But what he's doing there with Digbeth Lock Studios is really amazing in that locals can work in that community, in that place, and so it's expanding the movie and TV world to his hometown where he grew up.
I love that his characters, there's that resonance with them and how they relate beyond his own world view.
Yeah.
The fact that there's connectivity with Snoop and
awesome.
South Central,
Yeah.
and even Maria Callas. The fact that she grew up in Queens, New York,
and
went on
what she did.
Absolutely.
And by the way, and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on top of that?
There it is.
That's the crazy one.
Absolutely.